Welcome to the PlayStation Administration. With me today are two Sony ponies, Proctor from across the pond, and K-Dots. Welcome to the show.
What's good, everybody? What's good? And yes, I am also a Sony pony.
Yeah. This is a PlayStation-centric podcast for sure.
Biased.
Very biased. But I thought we'd go through, since this is the first episode, I thought we'd go through and give our gaming history, how we got into gaming, and why we gravitate towards games now. Who wants to start first?
I can go first.
Go for it.
For me, what got me into gaming was specifically two games, but the very first game I ever remember playing, was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on GameCube. And also Paper Mario on the Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo. Those two games is what got me into gaming, and I hold both those games dearly in my heart, and they're still there. I even still got my Super Nintendo in storage, so I still got mine still in good mint condition, ready to go. The reason I still continue with gaming is because over the years, for me, gaming is a escape. I know a lot of people say that, but it's an actual escape for me. Because whenever I'm going through something, I know I can hop on my game, jump into a different reality that's not even our world, role play, and just get involved into the world and get away from the drama that is real life.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. What do you think, Proctor? What's your gaming history, Proctor? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Well, I started with PlayStation 1 and Spyro. I don't know why, something about Spyro is just a great game to start kids off. And from there, I got PlayStation 1, most of the games on there. PlayStation 2, most of the games on there. And then I moved to Xbox 360, and I was all Xbox 360 because objectively the PlayStation 3 was terrible. And no one could disagree with that. It was terrible, beyond belief. And then I moved to PlayStation 4, back to PlayStation, and now I'm PlayStation 5. Always been a gamer. And in between that, PC. Mm-hmm. But mainly PlayStation.
What makes you come back to games, though?
The magic, the escape from reality. Definitely a good point is something to look forward to. So you can, E3 is a good example of, I was really hoping for a Dead Space remaster, so it was something to look forward to and get excited in hopes that something like that gets announced, and if it did, it'd be the excitement leading up to it and then playing it.
Very well said, Proctor. Now, my gaming history, for those who don't know, I started back on a Super Nintendo. That's what we had because we were poor. So I didn't have PS1. I had a Super Nintendo. I was playing All-Star Mario Brothers with my sisters. That was the first thing I ever played. And then the actual first console I got into and started playing lots of games on was PS2. I think a lot of people had the same experience as well.
Same.
Yeah, I never stopped playing PlayStation. I never got an Xbox, I was never a multiplayer guy. I mean, I did play multiplayer games with my friends, but I never really got into it. I'd much rather single-player, story-driven games. That's always what got me coming back to video games, because I just would, escape, get lost into this narrative that's happening, and that's why I keep coming back to video games. So, that's where I'm standing on it. I've always been a Sony pony my whole life. So, I don't know anything else. Nintendo did start it all, but Sony got me to stay. I do prefer their games. At least the exclusive ones. Which is I think we should get to E3 now, because Xbox came out with a shit ton of exclusives. I don't know if that's where we want to start. I mean, where do you guys want to start with E3?
We can start with Xbox, because I did like the Xbox showcase, not particularly for the games, but mainly for the feature that the recent addition they did to Game Pass.
Yeah, that
was my pull, because all the new games, old games, and even new games, upcoming games, are all going to Game Pass. So, and how I look at Game Pass is like Netflix. I get to watch all these movies, test them out, and I can consider later if I want to actually own a permanent copy of this film that I saw or whatever. Game Pass is like a new breeding ground for like testing out something without having to actually pay the full $60 price. Like Starfield is coming to Game Pass, and I can test it out on Game Pass first before paying the $60 price that it may possibly be, or 70. I'm not sure if it's going to be 70, but the 60 or 70, Game Pass is going to give me a chance to test it out before I even have to pay that full price. So that's one exciting that I was intrigued by that when it came to the Game Pass.
Yes, I think Game Pass is the biggest draw from Microsoft. In fact, you can play all these games. It's almost like GameFly, or some other game. PlayStation Now is kind of like the Sony equivalent, but not really, because those are just like you're streaming the game. I don't even think you're downloading them on that, right, Proctor?
No, yeah, you can download them. Yeah. It has to be a PlayStation 4 game, but everything before that you can only stream. But Sony, it's been leaked that they are working on a competitor to Game Pass that's going to shut PlayStation Now down. They are working on something that's going to be the equivalent at a similar price range with the same range of games, as well as all Sony's exclusives.
Yeah, and that was the thing about the E3 is that Sony wasn't there at all. So I mean, it was pretty lackluster E3.
They just announced games on their Facebook, and that's good enough. They don't have to be at E3 anymore. They don't have to waste the money hiring a stage and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like
they do their Days of Play anyway. And Days of Play, isn't it next month, or is it next week? That's
their chance to really stand out here, because I feel like people were pretty let down by E3. Other than some of the games that were announced, I feel like this is Sony's chance to make a splash at their whatever thing they're doing, State of Play, Days of Play, whatever they're doing.
They'll be showing God of War Ragnarok, so it's definitely going to be a winner.
For sure,
a winner Days of Play.
But let's.
It was for me. You guys, it was a very underwhelming E3. It wasn't, when I say underwhelming, it was just, it did not meet any of my expectations I expected, because, just like when we was at E3 2018, E3 2017, years prior. I think this is the E3 where it was just really Xbox and Bethesda stole the show, because all the other people who tried to present something didn't really pull me. Like, this E3 was just underwhelming. I wasn't too excited. And I was just, I was like, this is average at best. This is an average at best E3. This is how I look at this one. This is average at best.
Usually I watch every E3 like live when it's happening, but this one I just watched like the highlights after, like just the game trailers, like I didn't care about watching any of the panels that much. So definitely.
Same.
Definitely gonna be referring to you guys on these panels, because the only clip I saw was of Howard presenting Starfield and stuff like that. That's the only thing I really saw from a panel, and I think that was probably the biggest thing. No other game really stood out other than maybe like Guardians of the Galaxy game, but like Starfield, I feel like is a big exclusive for Xbox right now, and Xbox came out with a lot of exclusive titles this E3. So is it worth it to get an Xbox right now?
I'll say just in general. I mean, me, I still got my Xbox One S. It works perfectly fine. I remember I got the Battlefield Battlefield 1 bundled edition on my Xbox, and it's decorated like the Battlefield 1 game. I'm still fine with my Xbox One S. I can wait another year to even get an Xbox and a PS5, because I don't think it's worth it to get either at the moment. Because they're still at the moment of supporting the previous generation, and they're also supporting the new console generation. So you're not going to have much exclusives specifically built for those consoles, because they're building games for both consoles, and you don't have really those actual exclusive titles, not cross-platform, not multi-platform, not multi-platform titles, but exclusive to one thing type of content. But right now, I'd say you could get an Xbox, but you would be spending unnecessary money that you can actually save up and wait until next year to actually get a bundle. Because I think when next year comes, they're going to release like console bundles with their exclusive game. Like they may release a Starfield bundle, a God of War 5 bundle with your PS5. Save up money for that. You get that. Boom.
That's what I'm waiting for PS5. the Ratchet and Clank bundle for PS5. That's what I'm waiting for. If it ever happens, if they ever make enough PS5. So. But yeah, Proctor, what'd you think of Microsoft's exclusives? Anything that's going to draw you to Xbox, Proctor?
At first, in my opinion, for E3, it was not even close. By far the worst E3 we've ever had. But you've got to give it to COVID. The development slowed right down. There was probably so many games they had planned to announce, and COVID's ruined it all. So I don't blame anything in particular, but it was bad. Like the game, the Summer Games Fest that Jeff Keighley hosted was by far the best of the weekend, and that wasn't very good. I don't think Xbox necessarily is worth buying because every game's on PC day one. You can get Games Pass on PC day one, and if you add a bit more money, instead of getting an Xbox or like a Series X out, I'm talking about, give a bit more money and get a PC. Like that's what I did. I play all the Xbox exclusives on my PC. Bethesda's games going forward, I have a weird feeling that big releases will be on both consoles, and if not, play them on PC. At the Xbox event, I don't really think any game took me by surprise. Forza looked like the same game they've had for years. Halo Infinite looked like the same Halo they've had for years. Nothing really stood out. Starfield was, 30-second CGI trailer. Like, yeah, that Arcane game looked terrible. Like, nothing from the event, it just wasn't great at all. I think the only thing that looked good was A Plague's Tale, and then straight after Sony announced it was coming to PlayStation. So, and I 100% think next generation's worth buying.
And I think that's some of the consensus around the Microsoft panel. At least what I was seeing from people is that it was lackluster. You know, nothing was surprising anybody because these games were already like pre-announced. You know.
The last at the Xbox showcase. This is the thing. For either, I was hoping for them to like surprise us with something we didn't see. Like, but I thought they was going to show us some Fable gameplay and stuff. Like, that's why it was lackluster, because they didn't reveal nothing new and big. Because every E3 from Xbox, PlayStation, you get revealed something new that we never heard of. Even if they teased it, it just surprises us, and they will let us know. And you know, every E3 they always reveal something new. All the stuff that Xbox and Bethesda revealed, we already seen it at their showcase. Well, hinted at or shown at their showcase.
I think the only big games that were announced that we didn't really know much about was probably the Guardians of the Galaxy game. I think now we know
Square
Enix, but it's also the development team that made Deus Ex, the Deus Ex games, Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. That really stood out to me. As like the only game that like, wow, you know, they got a big development team behind this big property a lot of people like. I feel like that game's probably going to be a lot bigger than people think. I think people are down on it because of the Marvel Avengers game that bombed. But you got to understand, it's like different development team. It's going to be a different type of game. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, completely different. Square Enix are just putting the money towards it.
Yeah.
For me, Lantern, I would get the Guardians game. My only issue with it is that you can only play as Star-Lord. Yeah. Like, I would honestly get it, but you can only play as one Guardian, which is, you know, I want to play as all the Guardians. I want to be able to swap between them, play as Groot, Drax, Gamora, not really Rocket, but you know, I want to be able to swap between the characters. I think it should have been like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance where you can play as different characters. Not saying it has to be the same play style, but you could have went Marvel Ultimate Alliance with this Guardians game, because it's a team-based game, because you're playing with a team. You're not a solo character. I just think they dropped the ball with that for the game. But this is what I think they're gonna do. And if I was a sleazy person in a suit, I would do it too. After a couple months after, they're going to release DLC that lets you play as the other characters after its release. I think that's what they're going to do. I mean, I would do it. Because that's what most games do now. Most games that should add in things that should be there, they do it later. And it's like, you know, this should have been in the game day one. I feel like they would do that. You know, I mean, it's not a bad idea. You make extra money because people do want to play as the other Guardians. So,
and it's funny you mentioned that because Marvel's Avengers announced at E3 that they were going to have story expansion packs for their game.
Yeah, I saw the Black Panther one. That looked pretty nice.
It was pretty wild because that game is considered pretty much dead as far as like online goes and everything. And not a shit ton of people are playing it. Very, very few people are playing it actually. So
yeah, no one really talks about it. It lost its, even because it was coming off like Avengers Endgame and stuff. Even Avengers Endgame wasn't enough hype to like push it to where it needed to be because nobody's talking about it like that. And when people talk about it, it's something negative about it. It's not really nothing good.
So, other than that, what games are sticking out to you, Proctor, from the C3?
Death Stranding PS5.
Ooh, I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, that was the big one for me. I think the announcement was just beautiful. Elden Ring looks unbelievable. I'm so excited. That's my big next big game that I'm excited for. The Plague's Tale 2. Except for that, everything just looked, if not bad, just lackluster.
I love that you brought up Death Stranding Director's Cut because I think me and you are probably the only people on this planet that fucking love that game.
It does seem that way.
Yeah. K-Dots, did you ever play that game?
Oh, the walking simulator. No, I haven't played it. I have not played it, but this is the thing. I can get it. I do want to try it. But I watched all the walkthroughs and gameplay of it and stuff because big open world and all that. I just didn't get it because like it is a walking simulator
with assault rifles.
You need to. It's a completely different thing to play it than to watch it. I feel.
Yeah.
There's so many action sequences where you need your gun and stuff.
Yeah,
and the stealth sequences.
It is the hardest. It is definitely the hardest walking simulator there's ever been. You are controlling your footsteps and stuff. It's crazy, and your balance constantly. Like if you lose focus on your balance, you'll fall over. It can be really hard for people the first time playing it, but once you get past a certain threshold in that game, things open up and it becomes like a completely different game. Like. And with this director's cut coming out, that means the online functionality, you're going to have servers that are going to be packed day one, which is how I played the game. I played that game when it first came out, first week, and interacting with the people online, that changes the game. I can't imagine people playing that game without any online help. Like, that would be very difficult to play. What do you know about the online stuff in Death Stranding, K-Dots?
All I know is this. I think because when you deliver packages and stuff, you can like send loot and stuff to people, but it wasn't actually like online where someone can jump into your session and you meet up with them.
No, you build stuff that people can use in their games.
Yeah,
it's wild. It's wild.
Okay, sort of like kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. When you're trying to build your base and stuff, people can raid it, steal your stuff that you've been building, and take it back to their game session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it kind of like that. Only it's like more sharing than stealing. Hideo Kojima put a huge emphasis on like helping other people. It's all about sharing and being helpful. It's pretty amazing. What were you gonna say, Proctor? You were gonna say?
Yeah, I'm go ahead, Proctor.
I was just gonna say. At one point, I was building the road, and I ran out of materials for the last bit of the road. And then the day after, when I came back on the game, Land had finished the road, so the road was finished for me, and I didn't have to use any of my materials. Mm-hmm. That's how the online it works, similar to Dark Souls, where you're all online at the same time in the same world, but little things cross over into each other's worlds. So, like a way of traveling throughout the map is zip lines, and other people can put loads of zip lines in brilliant positions that help you in your game world. It absolutely changes the game, and if that game with no online functionality would be nowhere near as good. Just nowhere near. Yeah. It makes the game.
So, very excited for that director's cut. Because, I wonder what they cut out of that game. Because that game is...
I'm very interested, yeah.
I played it for 140 hours to get the platinum. Like, that's a big fucking game. I think
very big.
Yeah, you beat it in less time, but I was too busy, like, looking at mountain peaks and stuff like that. Because the game's gorgeous. But, K-Dots, I highly recommend, once you get your PS5 or whatever, definitely get.
Yeah, I might.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I might just get that director's cut. I might get that director's cut because this thing about Hideo Kojima games, I honestly think Hideo Kojima wants to direct. They're weird, but I honestly think this man wants to direct movies and TV shows. I really feel like he should because his games, the way he styles his games, like movies, TV. Like if you play Metal Gear Solid 5, each mission starts out like a episode of a show. You got your opening credits, and then the show, and then when it ends, you got your outro credits and stuff. Like, he literally stylized his games after like movies and TV shows and stuff. So there's director's cut. Even the title of it, Death Stranding director's cut. This is the Snyder cut of Death Stranding.
Yeah, just like that. It's just
the Death Stranding cut.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Death Stranding. That's one of those games that only like hardcore like Sony ponies that love that game are going to be hyped about. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like that was a very unique announcement at E3 for sure. Some other announcements was the Outer Worlds 2, which I love the first game. I think I platinumed that one too. But it's going to be an Xbox exclusive, right? Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they just revealed a little CG trailer. And it was a funny... Did you guys see it? It was pretty funny. They were like, we don't have any gameplay done for this. So, yeah. But, any other big games you guys are looking forward to that came out here?
I was almost excited for Square Enix. Bandai and Square Enix let me down. They let me down.
Bandai Namco.
Yeah, Bandai Namco. I thought they was gonna give us something, about their any upcoming new anime fighting games like My Hero, Dragon Ball, or Naruto. Nothing. They give us some. What was it? They really didn't give us nothing. They gave us literally nothing at all. So Bandai completely disappointed me. Square Enix did not. They disappointed me because they did not talk about their upcoming Final Fantasy 16 game that they have coming to PS5. They didn't talk about it at all, bring it up, nothing about it. And they're doing this other Final Fantasy spinoff. And if you've seen the trailer, I'm not sure if you saw it, but if you saw the trailer for that Final Fantasy game, a lot of people didn't like it.
It's like a Demon Souls inspired one, right? Isn't it like something like that?
Yeah, it was that dude, that blonde hair guy dressed in regular and stuff, big old sword.
Yeah.
It was not a good trailer because in the whole trailer, literally the guy is literally the main character keeps repeating himself in the trailer saying, "I want to kill chaos. Where's chaos?" And you just see everybody in the comments of IGN saying, "Well, I'm guessing the villain is chaos." It's like you have to watch the trailer and you'll know what I mean.
Is it called Strangers of Paradise? Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin? Is that what it's called? That's what you're talking about? Blonde guy with the giant sword.
Yeah, Stranger of Paradise. It was exactly that one. If you look at the dislikes, you'll see why.
Alright. Well, so that game disappointed you. What about on the Nintendo side? I know you're the one with the Nintendo console. I saw they were going to do Smash Bros. Characters. I saw the new Mario Party game and a new Metroid game. Any of those?
Well,
also a sequel to Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. So Nintendo getting some stuff.
That's what I missed. I did not watch the full Nintendo showcase. I did not hear anything about the Breath of the Wild 2 announcement. I missed that. I didn't even know it got announced.
Yeah,
because I went on Twitter today and I saw somebody bringing up Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and I was like, they announced that at E3? What the heck? So yeah, I didn't even see the gameplay trailer yet, but I'm gonna look at it later. I did not see it yet.
Yeah. Proctor, any of those Nintendo games going to convince you to get a Switch?
No.
Okay. Never. I mean, honestly, I think the one was called Metroid. It was called Metroid something. There's a new Metroid game coming out. I don't know if it's just on Nintendo Switch or if it's going to be on other stuff, but that's one I would love to play. Because it looks like it's the same exact style as the old games, where a 2D side-scroller, platformer, stuff like that. I mean, it looked good. But still, Nintendo rolling out their classic brands, their Zeldas, their Mario Parties, and their battle... What's it called? What's their fighter called? It's slipping my mind. Smash Brothers. Yeah. That's what it's called. Yeah, I mean, the same games over and over for Nintendo. Nothing that surprised me. Like, even the Legend of Zelda 2 announcement, like, of course they were going to make another Legend of Zelda. You know what I'm saying? Like, after the success of Breath of the Wild. Of course they're going to make that. I was really missing Sony from this E3. Because I felt like they have a lot of big games they're about to announce and show off. and they could have easily like stole E3 with the amount of games they got coming in the pipe. So yeah, I was missing them a lot.
I was excited by that Pokemon Legends Arceus reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they already revealed it, but the news on the Pokemon games Diamond and Pearl remaster, not remake, remaster, and the Pokemon Legends Arceus update. Because I'm actually planning to get both of those for my Switch, but I can't get them yet because my girlfriend literally has my Switch and she's always playing it. So I barely get to touch it.
It is the girlfriend system. It is the Redfall was a game announced in the Microsoft press conference. Y'all see that one? You see that trailer?
Yeah, it looked terrible.
I know. It just looked like another, generic little shooter here. It reminded me a lot of that Deathloop game a little bit. Like same shit over and over. I mean,
that's all that arcade is just doing the exact same game.
Yeah, and I am a big single player gamer. I do like my single player story driven games, and other than the Plague game that you mentioned, Proctor, there's now a lot of like single player story driven games that are coming out here. At least now at E3 that I saw. Outer Worlds, Death Stranding again. What's some other ones? Starfield, I think. But other than that, not that much for single player action. Everything's a heavy emphasis on multiplayer and stuff like that. I guess it's the direction it's going.
I was the only one who watched E3 here.
Yeah.
Like the biggest game of 2022, Elden Ring got a 3-minute gameplay video.
Yeah.
Come on. What's wrong with you? Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro, but some of the best games made in the last 5 to 7 years. Like no one cares except me. No,
I don't care about this game.
It looked amazing. Did you watch it? The Elden Ring game?
No, I didn't see it yet.
It looked amazing. It just looks brilliant. I think we've got a lot to look forward to on PlayStation. Demon Souls was brilliant as well. So.
I'm sure we'll have more to talk about like next month about PlayStation once we see that God of War, Ragnarok or whatever.
It's gonna be exciting. But,
I think if PlayStation was there, we would have got God of War gameplay because it said the game is coming next year. So that means it's pretty much
they got something.
It's pretty much in the process of almost being done. Because if it's dropping next year, they're probably maybe 85-90% into the game.
Oh yeah,
they most likely have to reformat some things because it's also coming to PS4. So I think that's why they even delayed it. That is why they delayed it, because it's coming to PS4. So they have to make a PS4 version and a version that's scaled up for the PS5.
Mm-hmm. And that's so strange that they're going on a PS. They're putting God of War Ragnarok on PS4. Like, why do I have to get a PS5 for faster load times? Like, that's about it. Right now, that's the only distinguishing thing, right? The games look a little better. They load faster on PS5. Other than that, like I can play every other game on PS4 with no problem. I come from a generation where you had to wait like minutes for a game to load. Like I could wait like 10 seconds for a thing to load.
And I'll say this about the new consoles. I'm glad you brought it up, Lantern. It doesn't make a huge difference, but just when the game start up in general from the home screen, like boom, load times. Like I saw the load times. Someone did a little load time comparison of GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 on the previous console generation, and the new consoles. And the load times are like much faster.
I mean, that's what I've noticed because I got a buddy that has a PS5. I watched him play Demon Souls on it. Looks fucking gorgeous. Loads like so fucking fast. But yeah, Proctor, about this Elden Ring. Looking at the gameplay right now, this definitely looks like a Sekiro Dark Souls game here. Say this is straight up like another one of those. I'm surprised people aren't freaking out about this.
They are. It was easily the biggest reveal of E3. I'm shocked you haven't seen it.
No, this was not on the list of like biggest games. Funny enough.
Fake news.
I know, right? Fuck IGN.
Fuck IGN.
They don't know shit. All right.
I think the worst thing about E3 this year was a lot of leaks came out, and in my experience of the last few weeks, every leak was like pretty much wrong. Which is, it's a lot worse when games get leaked and you have this expectation of leaks tend to be right in the gaming industry pretty much all the time. So you're expecting these games to be announced, and when you sat through hours upon hours of footage of E3, and then these games that you built yourself up excited for didn't get announced, it is going to be lackluster. So last week, Dead Space Trilogy Remaster was leaked, and Spyro 4 was leaked to be announced at E3, and not a single sight of one of them. Not a single sight. I'd have lost my mind if Dead Space got announced. That'd have been insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I remember. I remember the Spyro, rumor too. I feel bad for people that fell for that, because it doesn't make I don't understand why there would be another Spyro game. Like, who would make it? Who was even rumored to make it? It wouldn't be Insomniac making it, or right? Insomniac made it originally, right?
It was leaked.
It was Insomniac. It was Spyro who used to do Insomniac.
Yeah, and they're busy on a bunch of games.
Insomniac, they used to do Spyro games.
Yeah.
No, Insomniac and Sony sold Spyro like 20 years ago.
Okay. All right, so...
User fell behind a bit there. 20 years too late, they sold that. Activision owns Spyro now. Because they did the remastered trilogy, didn't they? But it's been, again, leaked that Beanox Studios are making Spyro 4.
Okay.
And they're well into development with it.
Because Activision also owns Crash Bandicoot too, and that's from that.
And Toys for Bob's making Crash 4. They made that and released that,
Yeah. So I guess it would make sense that they're making another Spyro, huh? Activision trying to capitalize on these old mascots here that they own. But yeah, I mean, any other thing from E3 you guys want to talk about here?
Not really. It was bad. So there's not much to talk about. It's like.
Yeah, I pretty much said everything I needed to say on it. I just hope next year we actually get, which we are, we're going to get new reveals. Because I kind of expected this to be dead in a sense, even for new reveals, because, we don't have that much new exclusives in general right now for these new consoles. So it won't be actually until next year when we actually see newly revealed stuff at these E3. Not stuff that we already heard about or seen at a previous showcase. Actual new things and something that just catches us by storm. That's what we need next year. This E3 compared to all the others was underwhelming. Like, even the most previously bad E3s was better than this E3. This E3 was like the most underwhelming of them all so far.
I think 4 exclusives in 6 months of a console's release is pretty brilliant. I don't know if that's just me. I think that's pretty good that they've been able to get that many out. All of which have been PS5 pure exclusives as well. And all praise to high heavens.
Which ones are the 4? I think it's Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, Demon Souls. What's the 4th one?
Astro's by
Playroom.
Playball, they're called,
Yeah.
All 4 are phenomenal games.
I'm probably, if I get a PS5, I think Returnal and Ratchet & Clank are like the number 1 ticket items for me. Top of the list. But yeah, I mean, everything's real slow right now. Even Microsoft with their console, they don't have a whole lot of like big exclusives for that one either.
I don't think they have one.
Yeah, it's been a real slow go with this next generation. I feel like they went too early. I feel like the PS4 has plenty of life. The last generation, you could have went another 2-3 years with it. I think there's plenty of life there. Yeah.
I think they released these the Xbox One and PS4, you still could have went with them for like at least the next 2 to 3 years, and I would have been perfectly fine with it. Because I only got my PS4 like when Spider-Man PS4 came out, so I haven't had this console for like, I only had it for like 3 years now.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap up this podcast here with a little of what we've been playing lately. So what games have you guys been playing? Let's go around and talk about what games we've been playing lately.
I'll go first. Games I've been playing as of recent, and I've been recently playing with my girlfriend a lot, and we've been playing Red Dead Online. I've been revisiting Saints Row. Jump back into playing some Bethesda games. I'm giving Fallout 4 a try again, and also the Just Cause games. All thanks to Game Pass. Shouts out to Game Pass.
All right, so you're really taking advantage of that Game Pass here.
This is a Netflix for Xbox. Can't miss the opportunity.
I definitely, if anybody has an Xbox, take advantage of the Game Pass. Just like if you have a PlayStation, you take advantage of the PlayStation Plus and you download every free game, even if you're not going to play it. Or you add it to your library, you know? But yeah, Proctor, what have you been playing?
I've just finished Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and playing through Resident Evil 8 on PS5.
How'd you like those games here?
Yeah, Ratchet & Clank's probably one of the best games made in like 5+ years. I haven't played a game in this long where I can't get off it. I tend to get bored of games. I still enjoy the games, but after an hour or two, I might turn it off because I've lost interest or what have you. Ratchet & Clank's kept me going. Every mission was brilliant. It's flawless. I haven't run into a single glitch. It just feels polished. The music is film level. The game is, for me so far, a solid 10. You couldn't give it anything else because it simply works perfect and it just doesn't waste your time, which I love them all. I know people were saying, "Oh, it's a 10-hour game. That's ridiculous for the price tag," but that's not necessarily a problem with the game. It's your problem with the price tags being too high, because in my opinion the game was perfect. I'm sick of games wasting my time in the last few years. Like, if you work full time, how are you meant to play the new Assassin's Creed that's 150 hours long?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I just appreciate Ratchet & Clank getting to the point with every mission. And for me, it was just a beautiful package and a game I'll definitely go back to, and it's not going to be forgotten in the next few years. Everyone I've spoke to has said the same thing. It's nearly a solid 10, or it is a solid 10.
Nice.
And Resi 8 is phenomenal. Is absolutely phenomenal. I'd recommend that if you were a big fan of Resi 4.
Yeah. And the thing about these games is that they are replayable. You know, you got your challenge modes and stuff after you beat the games.
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't do everything, and my play time was 13 hours, and I didn't do everything in the game.
Yeah. That's great to hear, because Ratchet & Clank's one of my favorite franchises. I can't wait to play that game on PS5. Yeah, that's great to hear that it came out really well. But yeah, we all think about that. Games have to be a certain length that they're $70. I feel like if
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
If the game is good, like, I'll pay whatever price for it, you know? And if it's paced well, that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying?
That's so much better, yeah. If it's paced well and it's a solid, let's say 10 to 20 hours, I would take that over a 100-hour plus game. I'd take the old Assassin's Creed any day of the week over the new ones. Easy. A more coherent story, a more coherent map. Assassin's Creed, the last 3 games, the maps have been empty. Yeah, they're huge, but they're empty. Yeah. So you're wasting my time. I'm constantly have to travel back and forth or wait in loading screens for fast travel.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. What games I've been playing? I've been playing the Uncharted collection on PS4 because I beat them on PS3, platinumed them on PS3, and I got the PS4 collection a long time ago, and I never touched it because, like, I had no desire to go back to them. But recently, I had a desire to go back and play them, and I'm going through all of them on Crushing. Started with Uncharted 3, beat that on Crushing. Now I'm on Uncharted 2, trying to beat that on Crushing. I'm on Twitch. I'm trying to play that and beat that. Not as bad as I remember. Did they change something about this, Proctor? Because, like, this Crushing right now is not as hard as I remember. I remember it being way harder on PS3. Maybe I'm just crazy.
No, you are right. It used to be. Yeah. I've noticed that too, because on the PS3, you just tend to get lobbed with grenades, so the AI would not let you sit in cover. Whereas on PS4, you can sit in cover, and your AI a better program, so they actually kill people and help you. Yeah, it's definitely easier on PS4. It's not easy, but it's easier.
Oh yeah, and I sometimes end up running to the checkpoints in some of these maps, and it's probably, it makes the levels like super easy. But yeah, that's why I've been playing. It's great to hear Ratchet & Clank is great. I want to play Resident Evil 8 as well. I saw my friend play that. Brilliant. It looked great.
Yeah. Did you like Resi 7?
I played on VR. This is scary shit. It's scary. I didn't finish it. That's scary. I'm like, I don't want to put the headset back on. So
yeah, Resi 8's another game. I feel like gaming is making some form of comeback. Resi 8's shorter than Resi 7. Just doesn't waste your time. That's what I like about these games. They're not wasting your time. They're a brilliant story. Like, every game that came out, I don't know if you guys have realised it, but the last few games, the last few months, maybe a year or two, they've been brilliant. They're actually, like, it seems like the quality is coming back. Not so much with Ubisoft, but with PlayStation and other companies and stuff. Like Returnal, it's hard, but brilliant game again.
Yeah, I heard lots of good things about Returnal. You know, like
Yeah.
it takes you a lot of time to get into it, but once you get into it, it gets really good. Apparently, K-Dots, what do you think about all that? What do you think about pacing in games?
It depends. For me, I'll give an example of a recent game. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a good game. It's a glorified DLC expansion. That's what I call it. It's not a full game to me.
Mm-hmm.
I got the PS4 copy. I paid only like $40-something. Worth the price. It's worth the price. Worth the price for the expansion. On PS5, it's $70. I wouldn't pay $70 for a game I can beat within 2 days, because I beat the game within 2 days. Just breezing through it, and even doing some of the side missions and stuff. There's not a lot of side missions. You can literally beat the game in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
At most, the runtime is like 12 hours.
Yeah, that's why I heard about that game too.
Yeah, but gameplay is not bad. Gameplay's not bad. Story is okay, but the game, I wouldn't spending $70 for a game that's not even worth where the length is that short. I can beat in 2 days. I pay $70 to beat something in 2 days. Granted, you know, I could have took more breaks and stuff and just let days go by, but I was also streaming it, and even when I was streaming it, I just did I streamed it within 2 days, beat the whole game.
Yeah, did you platinum it?
I believe I did. I don't remember if I did.
Oh, we got to check your trophies now, Proctor. We got to check his trophies now.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not $70 over here. It's a reduced price. It's reduced compared to the normal Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So over here, it's £50. So instead of £70, it's £50. So it was £20 reduction because it was a shorter game.
And,
yeah. I'm just saying at launch it was 70, but you know they did notch down the price because it had because it's a glorified expansion. It's probably Spider-Man Miles Morales is probably as long as the Blood and Wine expansion for Witcher 3.
That makes more sense though to reduce the price on that Spider-Man game, because they are using like the same engine, aren't they? They're using a lot of the same. Huh?
It was reduced over here, so I'm not sure why in America it wasn't. That's odd.
Because they like to overprice things here in America.
I was going to say, over here they did an edition that was $60 dollars for you guys. They did do with that, but it included PS5 Spider-Man remastered.
Yeah, so I think
it's more bang for your bucks.
Yeah, but that probably should have been like a $40 game, because they are just continuing off of what they did in the last Spider-Man game. They're using the same resources they used to make that Spider-Man game on the Miles Morales, so it's not like they were investing a huge amount of money to make Miles Morales. On the flip side, with Ratchet and Clank, like they built a whole new engine for that game, you know, so it makes sense why that would be a full price thing, even though the game's only like 15 to 20 hours, you know. I
just think it's I don't understand why it's an issue with that, whereas you'd pay the same price to go and see Zack Snyder's Justice League alongside going to see A Haunted House, which is an hour and 10 minutes. So why is it not a problem with films, but in games it's 10 hours? Oh no, I'm not paying that price for that.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting conversation, because like games, 15 hours. Like if we do that by movie math, like you go to see a 2-hour movie for $15. All right, what is that? We see 10 movies. How much are you paying to go see 10 movies, or like 5 movies or whatever?
Well, I'm okay with sparing $15 for a 3-hour movie or whatever.
What about?
Because movies can be as long as games. Games is something that you need more hours on.
Yeah.
Now for me, this is the thing. If I wouldn't play longer games, I always pick specific genres. Like if I'm playing a Ratchet and Clank game, I'm not going to expect it to be as long as a Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5. Because Red Dead Redemption 2 is an open world game. Some open world games are a lot longer than linear games. Linear games are going to be, straight to the point, short. So for me, I go for games that I know will give me a bunch of time. But that's unless all that time is worth the money. It has to be worth the money though. But I don't want to complete the game within like 2 days. But it depends on the type of game I am getting for me to make those decisions.
Yeah. And that depends how long you're playing that game in those 2 days, right? I mean, it's like binging a TV show. You could binge an entire TV show in one night if you want to. You're not gonna get a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
could.
sleep. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you could do that. Same thing with video games. You could binge a video game all day and get it done in a day. I used to do that when I was in high school all the time. Like, I would get a game, and the same day I got it, I would beat it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I've did that with every Arkham game.
Yeah.
The same day I've completed every
Like,
one.
I pay a full $60, you know what I'm saying, and beat it the
Yeah.
same day, and I'd be, like, happy as a pig in shit.
I just feel like, for me, I hate my time being wasted. So if I'm playing open world games, them games are 40 hours plus because the companies waste your time. Red Dead 2 is the slowest game I've ever played. It takes like 20 minutes to get off your horse. Like, it's just fake content. It's fake filler content, and I just hate my time being wasted. And I feel like with them type of stories, you just naturally don't get attached. They're not replayable. People are replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. They're just not. I didn't even finish it because it was just too long. Same for a lot of other games. It's just if they're too long, they're not replayable. Whereas Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I'd happily start that again right now on challenge mode, and then it's a 20-hour game. Then I'd play it again. Then it's a 25-hour game.
Yeah, and Red Dead that's a special case because that game's like one of the best games ever made, really. But it is so fucking long that like I don't want to go back and play that game again. You're right.
It's an acquired taste.
Originally, because I beat Red Dead 2 like more than 3 times.
Yeah,
I played it more than 3 times. Originally, the game was going to be 100 hours. Originally, they cut it down to 60, and I was hoping to get that 100-hour edition of the game and the reason they cut it out because Arthur was supposed to have he's supposed to have 2 romantic interests, and they cut those out, and they only kept the one with that other chick. And I was thinking, there probably would have been content with Sadie, so they probably had to rework some things, take some stuff out. Because originally we was going to get a 100-hour game, and I was like, whoa. And I would have been perfectly fine with that in a full, complete 100-hour game. I would have took that.
Yeah, I think you'll like Death Stranding. It's another one of those like super long games that like after I beat it, I was like, do I ever want to play this again? And then they announced the director's cut, and I'm like, I kind of want to play it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it's super fucking long.
Yeah, I feel like with these games, it's an acquired taste though, because I know you guys say that, but if you look at the trophies alone, not many people finish Red Dead 2, and everyone I've spoke to, friends and stuff wise, tend to agree that it's not that great of a game. It's too slow, and they've took away too much game. Like they've made it more like super realistic. Like why does it have to be so super realistic? In my case, with my friends and people I've met and stuff, it's put them off. It put me off. I couldn't finish it. I think Red Dead 1 is a much better game.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with you, Proctor. K-Dots has to head out, so goodbye, K-Dots.
I'm going to let you guys continue what you got to do. Thanks for having me on, Proctor, Lantern. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to do this again, let me know, and I'll be down.
Definitely. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yep. Oh, one last thing. Sony ponies for life. You know Xbox is superior. Sony ponies for life.
Sony ponies for life.
All right, now that Xbot is out, all right, just be Proctor now.
Xbox nerd.
Xbox nerd out, But yeah, that was a great little episode here. Man, we can go on for hours about pacing in video games here because I feel like a game being long doesn't necessarily add value to it. I feel like
It really doesn't, though. Yeah. I don't understand this conception where games have to be 100 hours, otherwise they suck.
Yeah.
Like, the people I've seen, because I'm in this trophy group on Facebook, who are shitting on Ratchet and Clank, saying it's just terrible, it's not worth the price. Like, oh, wow, pointless, why would you buy a game that's only 10 hours long? And I'm just sat thinking, it's a bloody kid's game. Like, why would a kid want to spend 50 hours as Ratchet and Clank? They don't want to.
Yeah. And think about it, like, I mean, it depends on how many times you play the game. Like, it's a 10-hour to 15-hour game, sure, but if you play it like 3 or 4 times, all of a sudden, you're spending 30, 50 hours on this game. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, same idea, right?
Like, I'm not being funny. Like, Red Dead alone, like it's a brilliant example. Red Dead, not many people finished it. If you look at Rockstar's stats, not many people finished Red Dead Redemption 2 who bought that game. Ratchet and Clank, it's got one of the highest platinum percentages.
That's awesome.
Like, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? People are actually finishing it. Red Dead 2, a lot of people I've spoke to personally haven't finished it. They just couldn't get through it. It was too slow, too sluggish. I didn't get through it. I don't want to. I think it's a bad game. I think it's badly made.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, I don't mean that in general, but gameplay wise, I just feel like it's very poorly made. They made very poor decisions, and I feel like they've segregated a big audience for no reason.
I think you're probably going to be alone with that Red Dead opinion. Like, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with you on the Red Dead being a bad gameplay thing. But it's alright, people have opinions.
It's just too slow. It's just too slow. Like
it's a very slow game. It takes like 10 hours for that game to get going. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and they just waste your time. It's the same with GTA 5. The online of GTA is brilliant beyond belief, but GTA 5 story, God, boring us.
It was a little boring. It was a grind to get through that GTA 5
Just a grind, yeah. Like, why does it have to be 40 hours to tell a story that's, all in all, quite a basic story?
Yeah, why is Grand Theft Auto Vice City still better than, like, these new Grand Theft Autos?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Mate,
it just depends who it clicks with. If it clicks with you, it clicks with you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Death Stranding clicked with me, and I know a lot of people hate that game.
Exactly. I mean, that's another example. That game's 140 hours long. You getting your bang for your buck, but people don't like the bang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want that kind of bang.
Like, yeah, if you don't like the gameplay, that game's not gonna do it for you.
Yeah. For sure.
But like you said, except for me and you, I don't know anyone else who's played that game and liked it.
Yeah. It's a very small group of people, but they're it's interesting because they're coming out with another version of it, so somebody bought it. So like people bought it.
Yeah. So Sony have done something. Why would Sony let him do that?
Yeah.
If that game sold outrageously bad.
Yeah. If it was like really bad, they would never even do this. I don't know. We can keep going on about game pacing and stuff like that. I'm not about games that are just about filler, that just put stuff into the game. And I think there was a Sony executive that's no longer there anymore. And he was talking about games have to find like a certain like timeline, because you can't constantly make games that are like 50 plus hours long. It's just not feasible, because those games.
It's the same with films.
Yeah,
it's the same with films. The studio interaction is the reason why most Snyder films aren't 4 hours long. And in my opinion, the studio like interference was for the better. Zack Snyder's it's too long. It's 4 hours. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's obvious that it's too long. Yeah.
It's obvious, yeah.
And like and with these like 50 plus hour games, that 100 hour games, these games take like 4 to 5 years easy to like make. They take a long time to make. Huge budget. Like, you have to invest hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're not going to see a return on that money for 5 to 6 years. So they have to find a middle ground here, like where they can make a game that's well paced, that's appropriate length, and that doesn't break their bank, and they can make it in like a 2-year turnaround or 3-year turnaround. They don't have that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why these games take so long to come out here, because they're trying to make these huge games that, like Horizon, that game's going to be a huge game for sure. But it's going to take a while for it to get made. And if they rush it, it's going to come out bad. Just like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was another huge game. They rushed it, came out bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
well, like, what's it called? That's a good point, actually. Because if you've noticed, with games, if, say, for example, you've done Ratchet and Clank. You're a studio that's made Ratchet and Clank. And then the next game you go into development on, you're doing a 100-hour game.
Yeah.
If you do a 100-hour game and you put that together, you make it all together, you play through it, you get QA testers who sit and say, this story doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. As a game studio, you're sat going, fuck, what do we do? With a film, you don't, all right, let's just rip this out. With a game, you're just like, shit, well, we have to release it. There's nothing we can do about this. That's just the way it is. And if it's a buggy mess, that's just the way it is. We don't have enough people to like maintain a 100-hour game. Like, every Assassin's Creed game in the last few years has been a mess, absolute mess. The story's been a mess. Like, the characters you just don't attach to because it's a mess. It's just full of filler content. Like, why would anyone choose that? But at least it's 100 hours over a 10-hour Ratchet and Clank game that is flawless. And I'd much prefer a short, flawless game.
Exactly. I mean, back when we were playing like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, those games didn't seem small. like when you were playing them way back then.
They seemed massive. Yeah, I remember playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Is that the one in Rome?
Yeah, the Rome.
And being like, Jesus Christ, this map's ridiculous.
You look at it now, though, it's just like, oh, it's like half the size of like a regular map today. You know,
I'd much rather go back to that. I enjoyed playing Brotherhood last year. I think it is a lot more than I've enjoyed playing Odyssey.
Yeah.
Or Origins.
I remember I missed the platinum on Brotherhood because there's some kind of like multiplayer trophy you have to get, right? There's like some kind of like, I couldn't get it. And I was like pissed. I was like, God. It was like the only one I needed or something. That happens a lot, dude. On these some games, like I'm one away. It's like some multiplayer thing. The servers are dead. You can't get it anymore. Like, my God. Yeah, what was your last platinum? This is what we're going to wrap up with. What was your last platinum here?
Ratchet & Clank.
Ratchet & Clank. Oh, yeah. What was the one before that?
It was... Well, it doesn't really count, but it was Jedi Fallen Order on PS5. It got a PS5 patch and all popped the platinum. But before that, it was Ratchet & Clank's remake that came out in 2006, I think it was.
Nice. Yes, that was my most recent two, was the Ratchet & Clank 2016 remake and
brilliant game.
Uncharted 3. Drake's Deception on PS4. Now I have Uncharted 3 Platinum on PS3 and PS4. And when they come up with a PS5 version, I'm going to get the PS5 version. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, Resi 7 as well.
How bad was that Platinum? Should I go get that?
Probably not. I would not recommend it.
It's a scary game, dude. Resident's, scary.
Very, very scary game.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the big game you're looking for from E3 is Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah.
For sure. And the only one that really popped out to me was really the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just like that. I just like the studio making it. The Deus Ex guys are making it. And it's going to be like a narrative-driven. It looks like a narrative-driven game, so that looks cool. I wonder if they're going to have the same kind of soundtrack in that game that they did in the movie. That would be funny. That would be fun. But yeah, very lackluster E3. Let's hope Sony can come back here. We're going to make a podcast when they do their thing for sure.
It definitely will. So Sony are definitely going to... it's going to come to like... not five PS5 games. Oh no, yeah, because it's thingy. Never mind. Sony are definitely... They're doing the Days of Play. They already announced it. They're going to have God of War Ragnarok. I guarantee they're going to have a teaser trailer for Spider-Man 2. It's probably just going to be Venom on screen or something.
Yeah.
They're going to have surprise announcements. They'll probably announce a remaster or something. I think something big's going to be announced at the next Days of Play. It's going to blow the E3 out of the water. And I think also EA's State of Play, if the Dead Space rumour was true, EA's EA Play, is it called? That's going to be brilliant if they announce Dead Space. Oof.
Dude, Dead Space 4? Or like just remaking the old one?
Oh, remaking the trilogy. Yeah.
I think that's, I might as well make a fourth one. Whatever. Yeah, that's one of those franchises they need to come back with. That was a fun franchise.
That's what we should do, a podcast on franchises that should make a comeback. No.
Maybe that'll be the next episode. We're going to try to do this like, I don't know, once a week, man. We could meet up on the weekends and do this. I think we could keep this going here. Because there's a lot of news coming out all the time, and constantly playing new games and stuff, and new platinums to get.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You need to play Resi 8.
Yes, I got to play that too.
You need to get a PS5 so we can review Ratchet & Clank.
I know. It'll be another year, so just forget about it.
They've just released a Ratchet & Clank edition.
Yeah.
So you need to get it.
How much is it? All right, I'll get it. Okay.
Buy it now. Do it now. Right now. Right on this stream. Do it.
Thank you for joining, everybody. I'm gonna go buy that PS5. See you all later.